Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest Root Cause Marketing webinar series, where today we are talking about reducing stress as a healthcare provider as you grow and scale your business.
Thank you, Jennifer. And we are so excited to host our guest today, Andres Ruiz. He is a motivational speaker and life coach. He speaks on mental health, stress, time management. Today, of course, we're focusing on functional and integrative medicine providers. And in his motivational experience, he's also a life coach. He is the radio show host on 10:30 a.m. The Voice, 106.3 The Groove, and 92.5 Urbana. He is also the author of the books Morning Warrior Secrets and The Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement. Both of his books have been #1 on Amazon. Andres has also been featured on CBS, NBC, and Fox. His mission is to help our youth and his clients do what inspires them to make the world a better place. He has been speaking up on the topics of mental illness, mental health, and recovery for NAMI for several years. And we're just so excited to see how his techniques can be applied for our functional medicine providers or anyone really in the healthcare industry. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for providing this space for me. I'm really grateful, and also really grateful for being in a space where we have two people who are really giving, have a big heart, and also just getting to know you a little bit more. I really enjoyed just chatting with you a little bit before we had this conversation. So really grateful to be here. Thank you both.
Thank you,
Thank
Andres.
you.
We're so glad to have you here. So, tell us a little bit about what you do. I know you do speaking and motivational work with youth and adults. So, tell us a little bit about how you've built your business and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Yeah, so before I was doing all this, like I was working jobs that I really didn't like. I was just really unhappy with my life. I was working a lot of call center jobs. I don't know if anybody's ever worked call center jobs, but oh my God, those were, yeah, so you feel me. Those were headaches. And I struggled a lot during that time to really just find out what it is that I wanted to do with myself, with my life. And so I struggled with that. And because I just didn't have a vision of where I wanted to go, I started to get a lot of anxiety in my life. Like my anxiety was like through the roof. It was really bad. And because of that, I fell into a really bad depression, and I just didn't know where I was going. I had a job, I was paying the bills, but in my heart, I was telling myself, there's got to be more to this life than what I'm doing right now. This cannot be it. I know that I was made for more. And I know that all of us, we all have something special within us that we want to pursue, but there's that self-doubt that gets in the way. And that's what was causing myself, like my self-doubt was I didn't feel worthy enough because I had family, friends who were lawyers, doctors, engineers, surgeons, and I was over here just high school diploma, felt like I was not good enough. And because I was going through a lot of depression, I was coping with my depression by drinking alcohol. I was taking pills while I was drinking alcohol. I was doing hard drugs like cocaine. At one point, I almost OD'd on coke. It was a really scary experience. I was also a womanizer. Like I was always like trying to look for love in other people, trying to make other people make me happy. And I just had chaotic relationships. And I was also eating a lot of unhealthy foods. And because of that, now I was weighing 265 pounds and was even more depressed because of my physique. And when I found out that I was going to be a dad, that changed my life forever. I got on a diet. I started exercising. I lost 80 pounds. I felt better about my health, but I was still struggling with like, where am I going? What am I going to do with my life? And I remember this one particular motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown that said, many people will leave the universe without a trace, and under their name, you can put not used up. And I said, man, he's talking about me. Like, that's when I started to tell myself, I know I need to do something else. I know I need to do something different. And that's when I started, I pursued stand-up comedy I'll be very honest, I was terrible. I still remember this one particular experience where there was this old lady in front of me in the audience, and she was eating, and she looked up and she went, and she just kept back eating. I was like, oh my God, like I'm a terrible comedian. So it was a really bad experience. And then that's when
That's
I
worse
got,
than being heckled to just be
yes,
ignored.
yes, yes. She just said, this guy is terrible. So then that's when I started in pursuit of public speaking. So I got into public speaking because I wanted to get better as a comedian. But then I fell in love with motivational speaking. And then that's when I started to just give presentations for free for middle schools, high schools. And then eventually it got to where somebody told me, hey, so how much do you charge? And I said, you want to pay me? Okay. So that's when I started to get paid. And then people asked me, how did you follow your goals and your dreams? How did you do this? That's when I got into life coaching. And then I did life coaching and motivational speaking part-time while I was doing the jobs that I really wasn't enjoying that were paying the bills. And then eventually when it got to the point where I was making enough money as a motivational speaker and a life coach that I was making the same amount as I was in my full time, that's when I said, I have to follow this. I have to follow my heart. And that's kind of how I got started, kind of like in a nutshell, where I was, where I'm at right now. And I mean, I just have been so blessed to be able to connect with so many people and serve so many youth nonprofits, organizations, speaking to health professionals like at Banner. I mean, I just feel truly blessed to be able to speak to a lot of the people that are doing so much great work, like practitioners that are listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And the reason why I say this is especially because just recently my nephew, he went through lymphoma, and he got to the point where he was at stage 4 cancer and almost dying a couple of times. And I just saw these practitioners, these people that were there for them, that showed them a lot of love. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Even more now that I was there firsthand to see like all the amazing work that these people were doing for my nephew.
Yeah, our audience, the people who do functional medicine, are a particularly special group as well. Everyone in healthcare, of course, is a hero in my book, but people in functional medicine often work for a lot less money because they're often working for themselves, and they're trying to get to the root of oftentimes what's chronic disease, what's keeping people unhealthy, where people are experiencing weight gain, fatigue, brain fog, dry skin, or just things that have plagued them for many 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 years. And traditional conventional medicine tries to just treat the symptoms, and our functional medicine practitioners of the world work hard to be investigators and try to get to what actually is going on inside a person's body, their own personal health journey to get back to health again. And yeah, there's that traumatic care for people who need urgent, desperate medical treatment now, like cancer treatment or, emergency room treatment. And then there's sort of the other side of the coin too. Like, how do you help people who have been feeling awful for a very, very, very long time and don't even necessarily have any hope that they'll feel better? So we have a fantastic group of people that we help, get their voice out to the world too. So thank you for, recognizing the wonderful work that providers do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that is really, I think that's something that we need to do more of, is just showing appreciation. And this is something that I teach a lot of people when I go and give presentations, is like, you need to start changing your expectations for appreciation, and everything changes. Because when we're expecting things to go a certain way, or expecting people to do things a certain way and they don't do it, then we get upset. And like one of my great coaches told me, expectations equal suffering, because when you expect people to do things exactly the way that you want them to do, you suffer. Because if they don't do it the way that you want them to, you're going to suffer because of it. And that could lead to stress. Just expectations alone, if we don't manage our thinking in regards to that, that could lead to feeling anxious, resentful. I have family, friends, people that I've coached who when they're speaking, I hear expectations in that conversation. And that's the root cause of why they're feeling this anger, this resentment. This resentment then leads to anxiety. That anxiety eventually leads to depression, and depression leads to us doing things that are not good for us, drinking
Mhm.
alcohol, not eating right, not sleeping right. And then why do people start to get sick? It's because of all these things that they have not been paying attention to, and it just started off with just an expectation. And so, if
Mhm.
we could get to the
Mhm.
root causes of the way that we think, how many people could we heal with just that thinking alone?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm probably going to screw this up, but I've heard there's like a saying, the gap between, expectation and reality, or where there's those needs are met, is where resentment lives.
Mm,
And so, yeah, like getting rid of just that piece of expectation, no matter in what area of your life. Yeah. And it sounds like such a simple concept, of course. Okay, let me just flip the switch off, right? But it's never as simple as that. So when you do identify that, with your coaching clients, what types of, actionable, sort of tangible things, exercises do you give them that they can, take with them right away and implement in their life as soon as they walk out the door?
yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And so this just reminds me of one of my clients who she has a lot of resentment and a lot of anger towards one of her parents. She felt abandoned, and she still continues to feel this way. And these are a few clients that I actually have that deal with abandonment. And what they think is that, like, they have just really bad luck with relationships. They keep attracting people who continue to abandon them. And the thing is, if we don't forgive these people from our past that hurt us, and usually it's the parents that did something that caused us to get hurt, if we don't forgive those people, what's going to continue to happen is that they're going to continue to show up in our lives. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this, but let's say you go into a new job or you meet somebody new and you're like, for some reason, I don't like this person. This person irks me. It makes me feel a certain way. And really, what that person represents is your narcissistic father or your mother who was very controlling or was very like just this person who was always trying to tell you what to do. That person is going to continue to show up in different people. And for my clients, what I teach them is the forgiveness, the power of forgiveness, where
Mhm.
you can do something as simple as just journaling. You can journal and just write out all your thoughts, what you're thinking about them and how they made you upset. To this day, I still have my journal here where I'll journal. If my wife says something that upsets me, or if my kids do something that upset me, or if that person that I'm doing business with does something that upsets me, I journal about it. I don't keep it in here. You see, when you keep that stuff suppressed, that's when the suffering continues to happen. And a lot of people, they say, well, I just get my mind off of it. I'll listen to music, or I'll go have a coffee, or I'll go do this. Avoiding is only going to make it worse. It's like sweeping it under the rug, and then eventually that rug is just going to just all this stuff is going to come out. The Cheetos, all the dirty stuff, the
Mhm.
marbles, whatever it is, it just comes out and you're ready to explode. And then you're like, why am I having this anxiety attack? Why am I having this panic attack? Why am I feeling so angry, so upset? Because you avoided those emotions, and whatever you resist will persist, and it'll continue to
Mhm.
come your
Mhm.
way. But once you forgive and you let go, man, it's you're gonna be free. And another thing that we have to do is we have to forgive ourselves. Many times
Mhm.
we are the person that's the hardest on ourselves. And if we want to forgive other people, but we don't forgive ourselves, we can't do that because you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have
Mhm.
self-forgiveness, you cannot
Mhm.
forgive other people. And actually, would you guys like to do a little activity right now, really quick to
Sure.
make okay, cool. So
Yeah, absolutely.
this is what we're gonna do. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to put your hand on your heart and close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And then what I want you to think about is something that you have kind of been hard on yourself about. And I want you to just think about that and then say to yourself your name and then say, I forgive myself and I love myself. And then breathe it in. Then breathe it in and then out and do it again. And I want you to say it out loud. I forgive myself and I love myself. I want you to say it out loud.
I
I
forgive
forgive
myself
myself
and I love
and I
myself.
love myself.
Breathe it in, breathe out. Say it again. I want you to say it with conviction. Say it with love. Say it with all the love in the world.
I forgive
I
myself
forgive myself and
and
I
I
love
love
myself.
myself.
Breathe that in, then breathe out. And then just one more time. Show me some love. Come on.
I
Give yourself.
forgive
I
myself
forgive myself
and I love
and I
myself.
love myself.
Breathe it in. All right. And then you can open your eyes. Excellent. Okay, cool. I just want to ask you, like, how did it feel to just say that to yourself? I forgive myself and I love myself. How did you two feel?
A little weird, but also it felt really nice and comforting at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely uncomfortable for a minute, but I was smiling. But maybe it's because I felt weird because
Yeah.
smiling is my default. But
Yeah. And then, so I just want to acknowledge you, first of all, both of you, for being willing to get out of your comfort zone and for doing something different. And
Thank you.
everybody feels weird when they first do this because it's something that is not common practice. And, but really, if you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense to give this to ourselves and forgive ourselves, but we don't do it because we were never taught that. We were never told, hey, don't be so hard on yourself, like take it easy. You have to have some of that self-compassion. And I want to share this other tip with everybody who's listening is, in order for us to have self-compassion, we have to first recognize, that's the first step, is recognizing that we're being hard on ourselves, being aware that, man, like I'm being a little too hard on myself. And then the second step is saying to yourself, like treating yourself like you would a good friend. Because if your friend, like let's say Landy goes to Jennifer and says, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I messed up. I did this. Jennifer would be there for her and say, hey, Landy, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you're not stupid. Like, let me hold the space for you. But if it's Landy against Landy, it's like, oh, I'm so stupid. We don't treat ourselves like that. But we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what? It's all right. It's okay. Like the other day, I remember I went to go drop off some mail for one of my clients. I was going to send them a book. And then when I got there, I was like, oh my God, I forgot the book. That was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose. And then
that's like I would totally do that.
I was about to tell myself, God, you're so, and then I said, wait, hold up. It's okay. You made a mistake. It's all right. Just go get the book. And I
Yep.
stopped
No one got
myself.
hurt. No one got
Exactly.
injured. No one got killed.
Nobody got hurt. But in the past, I would have been like, oh, you're so stupid. Oh man, now we have to go back again. Oh, the irritated, upset at
Mm-hmm.
myself. But now I caught myself
Mm-hmm.
and I said, it's all right. It's all right. You know what? More time to spend here listening to some personal development audios, changing the perspective. And then
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just want to, before we get too much further, too, I just want to like kind of make sure that I'm on the same page as you, because you have so many great tips. So what I'm hearing based on the conversation is that the first step is like learning how to forgive ourselves, and a way to do that is to journal those thoughts to get it out of you,
Mm-hmm.
which is really great. I would like to journal more. I need to journal more, but that's another topic, right? But I wanted to ask you kind of a follow-up question on that, for people who are like me, like they know they should get it out, all these things, but say they don't want, and they don't want to journal, they don't want to write it. You know, do you give them other options like recording it, or not avoiding it? Definitely, that was very clear. Like we don't want to just put the music on or watch our Netflix show and like avoid it. But
Yeah.
do you have anything else for like the person that's like, oh my gosh, I just can't journal?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure. So, other things that you can do is you can just voice it out. You can even record it
Mm,
on your phone,
mhm,
or you can also just call somebody and tell them, "Hey, like I just want to like
mhm,
tell you this is what I'm feeling." You could just hold the space. I do that with my wife sometimes. She does that with me, and she just tells me, "I just want you to listen to me. I don't want you to say anything. Just
Mhm.
listen. That's it, and
mhm,
don't say anything because I know that you probably have some advice, but I don't want your advice. I just want you to listen." Okay, cool, cool. I'll listen. And
That time only. Yes.
I've learned that the hard way because if you're just saying, "Well, why don't you just fix it?" That's what because men, that's what we do. Well, why don't you just go
mhm,
do this, this, and that? That's it. And then they're like, it's not like that. Men and
mhm,
women are different, but
mhm.
that's another topic. But I think that it's also important that we're voicing it out. So you can do that as well. You can also do some guided meditations. They're on YouTube where you can do a forgiveness meditation there, and it'll guide you and tell you
Mm,
exactly what to do. I do that with my clients, where we'll have a talk, and then what I do is I have them close their eyes, they relax their body, and then I get them into the meditation where I have them visualize their relative in front of them, 6 feet away from them, their face and their whole body. And then I just have them visualize their relative saying that they are sorry for all that they did to them. And then in return, they forgive the
mhm,
relative. And then during the meditation, I remind them, just remember that this meditation is for you, it's not for them. Because if you continue to hold on to this anger,
mhm.
it's like you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And so that anger does not serve you at all. So you got to release it. And so those are other tips, for the people that don't want to journal. You can also, do that as well.
Yeah, and that's really great, because we all have our cell phone device. And with the recording, we can record or download an app or something. So that's really great advice. But what I'm hearing too a lot from you is a lot of this is like mindset stuff and self-talk stuff.
Yeah.
And so that is, good news on the one hand, but it's also like very, very hard work for these people, busy people. I mean, life is busy for all of us. It's just at what level, right? And so for people who, embrace and are aware of these, like you said, number one thing is recognition and awareness. They are recognizing that the stress management needs to happen now, that they're reaching very toxic and unhealthy levels. It's showing up in lab results or their relationships, et cetera, et cetera. And so for the very overwhelmed already busy person, but they're aware that something needs to change, in addition to that journaling and just vocally getting that information or feelings out, in whatever mechanism that works best for them. What is like, or what are some other things that like super busy, super highly stressed people who are just constantly on the go, that they can just squeeze in, during in between appointments, or shuttling the kids back and forth,
Mm.
etc. How
Yeah,
can we
self-care
develop a
for mental
habit?
health. Yes, when you're
Mhm,
super stressed and overwhelmed. Yeah,
and you're
I'd
out,
love to
yeah,
talk about that. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, and this is actually something that I did with some healthcare workers a while ago, where it's called positive intelligence. So it's more of but we call it's like PQ reps, and then it's called mindfulness. This is something that I learned from one of the coaching programs that I took, and so there's a few different mindfulness activities that you can do at any moment, and all it takes is 10 seconds to reset your brain. And we can actually do some right now. So I'll show you. Let's do a seeing meditation, a seeing mindfulness meditation. So let's do this one. I do this one a lot with the kids, and then with healthcare workers too. Just kind of like loosen them up a little bit, because sometimes it could be a little bit too tense in there. But okay, what I want you to do right now is I want you to look at your thumb. So look at your thumb, and look at the color of your nail. Look at the color of your thumb, and look at how ashy. your thumb is. Well, mine's ashy. I didn't put on lotion, so don't judge. But look at this thumb like if it's somebody that you love. Say, I love you, thumb.
I love you, thumb.
I love you, Thumb.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So that right there, I see you smiling. You guys are smiling. So okay, that's one of them. That's seeing meditation. And then the
Okay.
next one that we're gonna do is right now. What I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And right now, as you're breathing, I want you to focus on the sounds that are going on outside of your house or your office. And just focus on those sounds and just keep breathing. Focus on the sound of my voice. Keep breathing. Keep focusing on those sounds. That's all I want you to do. And now I want you to focus on the sounds going on inside of your office or your house. And just keep breathing and keep focusing on my voice, on the sounds inside of your house, your office. And now I want you to bring your attention to the noise of your breath. And just keep breathing. Just focus on the noise of your breath. And just keep breathing. And then when I count to 3, I want you to open your eyes. Just keep focusing on that breath. 1, 2, 3. All right, you can open your eyes. Okay. So real quick, how did you two feel right now? What was that like for you?
For me, like a lot more centered and focused.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Landy, how about yourself?
Yeah, like a feeling of grounding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's exactly what you did. And that took you 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we probably went like about 40, 45 seconds. But this tool alone has like transformed my life because I do these PQ reps throughout the day. I probably do like 10 minutes a day during the day. And so like just today, so I was taking a shower and then I started to think about this investment that I'm going to make. And then I started to think about my business. And then I started to think about these clients. And then I started to think about the event I have on Sunday. And then I started to think about all these things. Oh yeah, and then the kids, and then this and that. And then I said to myself, whoa, how many thoughts are in there? So I just, in that moment, I took a deep breath and then I felt the water on my body. And I just kept feeling the water and just focusing on the water. And then this is another tip that I want to give you. And then I started to feel gratitude. I started to feel gratitude for the water that I had in that moment. I said, God, thank you so much for this water. And then I heard my 2 kids outside of the door yelling at each other. And I said, thank you, God, for my kids being healthy enough to beat each other up. And then I started to focus on my health. I have my arms. I saw a woman with no arms the other day. Thank you, God, for my arms. And boom, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I feel better. But imagine if I would have stayed in all the things that I needed to get done, I would have taken away the pleasure of the moment. And we always have to remember that this moment is all we have. The past is done. There's nothing that we can do from it, but learn from it and grow from it. The future, we don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know is that we can focus on the positive right now. And I'm not saying you have to be positive like Pollyanna or something like that. I'm just saying, look at what's in front of you. Because what's wrong is always available, but so is what is right. What are you going to choose? It's all about perspective. But when you're constantly going, and looking at all the bad things or the things that are coming up, you're going to get more of that because where focus goes, energy flows. You put your focus on the negative, you're going to get more of that. You put your focus on the good stuff, you're going to get more of that. Choices are. We always have that choice.
We always have that choice. And I want to come back to it because I just think it was so beautiful when you talked about your experience, right? Where we start that monkey mind in the rabbit hole and that you recognize that. And that in and of itself takes lots of practice. I practice that too. Yeah. But what I love the most about what you said is that if you would have allowed your mind, to continue down that road, and you didn't recognize it, and you didn't have, the wherewithal, to come to a place of gratitude, you would have robbed yourself of that moment.
Hmm.
Like, I just feel that is so, so beautiful and so profound. And I'm actually going to try and take that for myself too when I'm having those moments. Because, yeah, I'm type A, perfectionist, recovering perfectionist, overthinker. Hello, yes, that's me. And so I have multiple opportunities daily, hourly, to put something like that into practice. And so thank you for saying that. I just had to really acknowledge that, because it's so, so simple, but yet not easy. It's not
No,
easy.
you're right. And it's not easy because it's we don't practice it enough. And for me, I practice this every day. Like I do, my morning routine consists of self-love, where I wake up and then I say, first thing I do is I say, thank you God for another day. Thank you God for my health. Thank you God for my house. Thank you God for like a bunch of things that I can name. And then I just go into the bathroom, and then I look at myself in the mirror and I say to myself, and I learned this from Luis. Hey, at first, and I'll tell you this, when I first did this, I was like, am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? But I just look at myself in the mirror and I say, Andres, I love you. I appreciate you. You're going to have a great day today. And then I just tell myself some affirmations. I look at myself in the mirror, and then I just pump myself up to like get going. And then right after that, I do 20 minutes of meditation. And then after that, I do 20 minutes of yoga. I then work out for like about 20, 30 minutes, like intense workout. And then I take a cold shower. And then I just started my day off with like, just, I feel powerful. I feel so excited for the day. I feel energized. And throughout the day, I tell myself these affirmations of, I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. Thank you, God, for this life. And I practice those. I have it in my car. I have it here. I have a reminder of the gratitude, and that routine like changed my life. I even wrote a book about it, the Morning Warrior Secrets. That's what inspired me to write that book, because I wanted to help other people with their morning routine, because the way you start your morning could determine the rest of your day. And if the way you start your morning could determine the rest of your day, it'll eventually determine the rest of your life. So how are
Absolutely.
you waking up? Are you waking up looking at emails and looking at all these things that are just like setting off the alarm in your brain? Are you looking at the news, that, oh my God, this earthquake happened, or all the world is ending? I mean, we have so much information that is very, could be very bad for us, but we also have really good information that we could use to benefit us. Like right now, you could be learning something like this. That's what I like to do. I like to learn. I don't like to look at the gossip that's going on with, in the news or whatever. I want to look at stuff that will help me grow and evolve.
I think, yeah, for sure. And if you don't mind, maybe we could talk a little bit more about that too, because I think that, with something like this, we're talking to, very overwhelmed, stressed out, very busy, pulled in 1,000 different directions, type of people, right? But these people are also having to show up to work and pour into others, right?
Mm,
And so, we've talked about really, really great, tools to use, the journaling or talking about it, calling a friend, great tools. But I like the idea of maybe just establishing a different morning routine. And again, even that in and of itself could be very stressful because, the people that we're talking to, like, what morning routine? Like, I get up at 4 a.m., I've got to, shower myself before my baby wakes up so I can take it, and the cycle goes on and on. So, what type of solutions would you provide for someone that they just don't even have really control, over that morning routine because of so many of those external variables? What's like thing, one
mm.
thing that those people can do, implement right away, simple, quick? What would your advice be there?
That's a great question. And that's why in the book, I also have like a shorter morning routine. So, if you don't have that hour, You could have, like, for example, today I woke up a little bit later than what I usually do, and I only had 15 minutes to do my morning routine. So I said, okay, I'll do 5 minutes of meditation, I'll do 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of workout, and then get in the shower. So
Mm,
you can,
mm,
when I started doing meditation, I couldn't sit there for 20 minutes. And then when I would hear people say, I was like, are you out of your mind? Why would you sit there for 20 minutes? You're wasting time. But really, you're actually saving time because you're saving that stressful moment that you'll have in later on that will keep you down for a few hours. So what I started doing was I started doing meditation for 30 seconds, and both of you just did
mm,
meditation for 30 seconds,
mhm.
and you saw that it's possible. So I always like to start off with little habits where, yeah, let's start off with 30 seconds, then you go up to a minute, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20. So I went from 30 seconds up to 20 minutes, but it had to be over time. It didn't happen like right away. And now I probably meditate like about 30 minutes a day because I do the 20 minutes, but then I also do the PQ reps, like I showed you earlier, like
Mhm.
1 minute where I just sit there in silence. Or sometimes I'll just go outside and then I'll just be looking at the sun, with my sunglasses, just like staring into the sun and closing my eyes, taking a deep breath in. And before, sometimes people would walk by and I'd be a little bit too embarrassed to do it. Now I don't care. People just pass by and
Yep.
they're like, look at this crazy guy just looking at the sun. And but I'm doing that because I know that it's good for me, and it's just something that has like really transformed my life. And I teach this to a lot of my clients too. Like it's something that, hey, if you don't have like 1 minute for your life for yourself, then you
Yeah.
really don't have a life. You really have to at least give yourself those 5-10 minutes a day. And it doesn't have to be right in
Yeah.
the morning. It could be throughout the day.
Mhm,
That is
mhm,
profound. I love that phrase. So,
mm.
we've heard a little bit about your book now about the morning warrior routine. Tell us a little bit about your other book and what is the focus of that one?
Yeah, so the blueprint on how to turn goals into achievement, that
Mhm.
is pretty much just giving you the step-by-step process on how to get from where you're at to get to where you want to get to. So we go through clarity, because a lot of people lack clarity, and that's why a lot of people struggle. And that's what I see with my clients. They don't have clarity of where it is that they want to go. You get clarity, you also find out who it is that you want to be, because a lot of people don't know who they are. So once you find that identity, then we create the strategy and why you want it, and then the action. And it's a very short read. We're talking like 47 pages. I
Wow.
call it, this might be TMI, but I call it a toilet book because you can knock out a chapter or two in the
Sure.
bathroom. But it's a really short read. And I've had a lot of people just tell me like, wow, this was really cool. I actually read the whole book. They felt like a sense of accomplishment because they read a book. And I like to
Mhm.
write books that are really short, that they're just right to the point, and that way you can just start taking action. And also it's like a little guide where you can write on it too. So you can, it's like kind of like a workbook slash book.
Mm.
So that's what the book is about. And then I didn't mention to you, but I also came out with a new book this year called Do It Now: Secrets to Overcome Procrastination. So that one is, well, obviously it's about procrastination. And I was actually procrastinating on that book for a while. So, just to let you know, I still deal with procrastination. I'm not going to lie to you that I'm perfect, because I still have challenges, but I've gotten way better at procrastinating. Like I'm not better at procrastinating, but better at not procrastinating so much. But it's something that I really believe that it's extremely important, because procrastination could also lead to being stressed, feeling anxious. If we don't do the work that we need to get done, it could be very stressful. But I give tips where it's just very basic tips that you can just implement at any moment, in any time of the day, and they can be very helpful for you to make sure that you're getting your work done. So
Can you
those
give
are the
us an example of like one? Just, I mean, obviously, we don't want to give away your book because we want
oh
people to buy
oh
your
I'll
book. But
if
give
I
an
if
example of what we could do
I'll give it
immediately.
all. I'll give it all. I don't care. So one that I like to use with some of my clients that are always like, I just can't focus. I just can't keep like focusing on my work. I
Mm.
give them this one. It's called the 50-10 or the 25-5. So the 50-10 rule is where you just put 50-minute timer and you stay laser focused on whatever it is that you need to get done. And during that time, I like to put on like some upbeat music to, like, just get me motivated. But I don't look at my phone. You see, when you look at your phone or when you get distracted, it then takes you 11 to 21 minutes to get back into laser focus. So if you can imagine, if you're constantly getting messages and you're looking at your phone and you're trying to do work, you're never going to get it done. So that's one that I tell people. And then I also tell them, you can also do the 25-5, where you just do 25 minutes of laser work and then 5 minutes of like rest, or 10 minutes. And then I also ask them, what's your number? And I've had people tell me, I couldn't really only focus for 5 minutes. Perfect. That's better than nothing. Whatever works for you, but choose a number and stick to it and just do it. And actually, since it's called Do It Now, so I also give them bracelets where it says Do It Now right here.
Yes.
So and Landy, if I see one of these days, I'll give you one of these. But it's like a reminder of just do it now, do it now. So whenever people are like thinking about procrastinating, you just tell yourself in that moment, do it now, because when you hesitate, then you stop yourself and you don't do it. And hesitation is also a form of fear, because we hesitate anytime there's like danger, or like maybe it's like a boring thing that we have to do, or we're being lazy, whatever. And as soon as you hesitate, that hesitation is a fear, but it's also a habit. And we created a habit of hesitating consistently, that now we hesitate anytime there's like a challenging thing that we have to do. So in that moment, just say, do it now, and just immediately just do one little thing, because your words have a lot of power. Your words, they turn into a thought. That thought creates the way you feel. That feeling creates the action you take, and that gives you the result. You get a negative result, you're going to continue to procrastinate. So you got to watch what you tell yourself. Like, it's very important that we tell ourselves, hey, just do it now. Just get it over with. Come on, you can do it. Come on, let's go.
The weight of things hanging over your head that need to be done that you don't want to do. As a person with ADHD that wasn't, diagnosed till I was an adult, I can tell you that the feeling of relief and the lessening of the burden of getting something done right away versus having it even like a little tiny thing hanging over my head. It'll go for days, weeks, months, and I haven't gotten to it yet. And the collective impact of those undone things is awful.
Yes.
It's crushing.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I could very much empathize and resonate with what you're saying here.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So since we've got some tips from your first book, we got a tip from your most recent book. How about just a couple of tips for the folks from your second book about about moving things forward? What can our functional medicine providers or other healthcare practitioners listening to this? What's a tip from your second book that might be something they can immediately put into practice after hearing it?
Yeah, so I would say the one thing is like something that's is very important, I think, is just like the clarity piece, like clarity on like how are you putting yourself out there? How are you connecting with people? Like the marketing piece, I think, is extremely important. Like for myself personally, I always like to put out videos on my socials just to give people a tip on what I do, and just I give all the content, like all the good stuff, I just give it away, where, hey, if you do this, you'll get better, or you'll do great, or you'll get your goals. If you really do this, you'll get there. And with healthcare providers, even giving simple tips, like 1 to 3 tips on a blog, or maybe on a video. Hey guys, if you stretch your leg this way, or if you take ginger or something, this can actually help you reduce this. And people will appreciate that. And whenever they feel like they need help, the first person they're going to think about is that person, because they already gave them value before they even worked together. So I really believe that one has helped me out tremendously, where I'm just giving a lot of information, where I've had people message me on Facebook, and they'll be like, hey, that one about caring about what people think or say about me, that really resonated with me. I know you do coaching, like what is it like to work and together? And then I'll get a client out of it. And why? Because I was just coming from a place of just giving and expecting nothing, like no expectation, like we said earlier, just sending value people's way. And then some way, somehow, maybe not necessarily from that person that I'll get business, but the world, the universe has a way of bringing amazing things to people who are out there who are just out there serving and helping other people. So I would just say being of service is something that I think could just really, and you're all these people that are listening, they are of service, but if you can just give those little tiny tips to people, it could be a total game changer for people to come to you more.
What a wonderful way to wrap up the interview and a perfect segue into your own contact information. How can people find you on social media so that they can learn more of these tips that you can give them so that they can also then help their patients in a better way too? Where do we
Yeah, for
find you?
sure. Yeah, so you can check out my website at ibelieveinmyself.org, or you can also send me an email if you want me, like, anything I can help you with, ibelievecal@gmail.com. That's my email. And then you can also check me out on Facebook, Andres Ruiz, or you can also check me out on LinkedIn, Andres Ruiz as well. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Honestly, it's and the work that all of you that are listening or that are doing, I really appreciate everything you do, and we need more people like yourselves.
Hmm.
Thank you so much, Andres. It's been so great to talk to you today.
Same here. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for having me. I want to say thank you, Jennifer and Landy, for having me. I really had a great time. Thank you so much.